Hi, I'm Paul Roberts. This is Conscious Counseling 101. And today we have kind of a unique one. Giovanni writes in and would like some generic counsel. So I'm going to render my thoughts. And this is a long letter. I'm going to take about 5 minutes to read this letter, probably, to go through it. I think I'll read it all at once. I'm not sure. But it's a case that seems complicated. He really took the time to lay it out. But it really, I think, is simple. So I'm going to go ahead and read this, and then I'm going to give my thoughts on it. And I'm going to do this way because other people might be helped by it. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I don't charge. I'm helping while I'm doing this generically for no cost. And I'm getting the added benefit that others might listen to this generic video made for this man and find some of their own types of situations similar to it and perhaps benefit. So that's why I do what I do. I'm Paul Roberts. Okay, so he says, well, I started dating a woman who was a friend's wife, but they separated. They had a daughter, my eventual stepdaughter. He, the father, was accused of child molestation, and we spent 4 years in court proceedings. Eventually, he was completely out of the picture. My ex moved back to Virginia to get away from him, and she went to law school. We had a long-distance relationship, and I proposed to her. A few weeks before the wedding, I postponed it, because I was being nervous. She refused to postpone, and we split up. We didn't speak for months until I spoke to my soon-to-be stepdaughter. I eventually moved to Virginia, and we lived together for a few months until marriage. We had a honeymoon baby, my only bio. I spent the next 4 years putting her through law school and working several jobs to provide. She graduated and took the bar exam and passed on the first try. She started working in law, and within a year, she decided to separate. We lived together for 6 more months while separated. I paid all bills and child support while there. During this time, we fought daily in front of the kids until I had enough and moved out. We seesawed over and over about getting back together. Over the 9 months, a ridiculous amount of stuff happened. In 2017, my stepdaughter pierced my bio daughter's face after knowing I said no. I found out days later my ex and both girls were hiding it and lying to me for a week about it. When I confronted them, they blamed my girlfriend, me, my other mother. They blamed my girlfriend, me, my mother, etc. Then the girls wanted to spend Father's Day, and I said no because they lied to me and deceived me. Then they went on social media to destroy me and the girlfriend as opposed to apologizing. My ex-wife never defended me or took my side during the marriage. For the next 4 years, I tolerated insults, backstabbing, financial problems, and was only contacted when they needed something. Eventually, my bio contacted me because she needed a place to live, and of course I said yes. She was told she was betraying the family and eventually left and stopped speaking to me for months. She came back over and over again, and never once did I complain or bring up the past. My stepdaughter got married without inviting me, had a baby, sending pictures or telling me. She had a baby without sending pictures or telling me. She waited since months to contact me to tell me what a jerk I was. I told her I would be happy to meet, but she refused. During this time, my bio told me she hated me and never wanted to see me again the day I bought her a car. My ex never told the girls to contact me or apologize. The whole family still talks bad to others about me. I have forgiven. I'm not angry or sad. I hold no grudges and never once posted anything on social media nor contacted them to cause strife. I do want to add that I was not always the best person, but I was the best father possible. I never met mine and vowed I wouldn't do that to mine. I never met mine and vowed I would never do that to mine. Not quite understanding that. I pray daily about it and wish them all the best lives. There are so many more details, but it would take months to tell everything. I don't know if this is what you needed, but here it is. Have a great weekend and a great day. Giovanni. Okay. Okay. Believe it or not, he says he's a Christian, okay? And believe it or not, because of that, I am uniquely feeling that I can be qualified to tell you exactly what's happening here, okay? Okay, let's start off with a quote from ancient philosophy, okay? You can change yourself, but not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Now, within that lies the ability to possibly change outside events, because you can change yourself, and by doing so, possibly influence outside events. But not necessarily. Okay, so you said you're a Christian. I'm going to approach you in a spiritual Christian way as far as Jesus' teachings, and I'm going to also talk to you about Christianity that happened in Antioch when the church formed after Jesus' death and resurrection, okay? So the very important thing that I recognize in what you're saying here is, because you're not sad, you're not trying to cause strife, you're trying to apply the love your brother, highest commandment that Jesus gave at the Last Supper. You're trying to make sure that you're a good shining beacon of light, okay? And you're kind of self-contained, and no matter that all this has happened, you want me to talk to you about it and tell you what my thoughts are, but you're okay, you're not sad, you're all right, okay? So you really don't need anybody to tell you anything, but you ask anyway. What should you do with your estranged daughter? Okay. Okay. So you're in line with, not Christian, sorry, I gotta not use this word. You're in line with Jesus' teachings, the highest commandment, okay? Love your brother, okay? As yourself, according to his teachings, Jesus' teachings. This is his highest commandment. And all the other commandments are inside of this highest commandment, okay? Now, if you're familiar with Romans 13, we talk about Paul. My name's Paul, okay? I have done a lot of study on this and found that I believe that I was named Paul because my parents are Christians, but they named me Paul because I believe Paul almost usurped, in some points of view, could be argued, I'm not going to argue it on this, almost usurped Jesus in the sense that he reached out to people in this world in Romans 13 and said, all the authority given to those that are in authority is God ordained, okay? And if you don't submit to that authority, there's no authority that is not God ordained, then you will be damned. Now, in my personal opinion, this type of point of view, this letter was written to the Romans, sets up, even for those that don't believe, all those that come after Paul, sets up a don't do unto others as you'd have done unto you type of higher commandment that Jesus does. It sets up a there are those that are high, there are those that are low. We, because you were placed there by God, will subscribe to what you say. You're ordained. Jesus said you can knock, the door will be answered. Jesus said that you can find the way through knowing him. By loving him and keeping his commandments, you'll come to know him, okay? But you haven't fully come to know him. Now, without being judgmental, now I'm going to go off on a tangent here because I want to keep this under 15 minutes. As Christian as you are, I don't know whether you're following more towards Paul or other ideas of what evangelical Christian leaders might want you to think Christianity is. But the thing that I believe is the strongest, and what, if Jesus is the cornerstone, of course it has to be, is that he came as a final result of the covenant with Abraham to reach the lost children of Israel and help them, okay? And what he did to do that was he showed the nature of mankind within the realm of the powerful leaders in the sect of that Jewish society, and how they had risen to high levels, distorted the word for their own purposes to rise higher, and give this word to mankind within that sect, and then they go astray. And this is why they needed saving, because without Jesus' direct intervention, they could be very well misled. This is the message of Christianity that I believe you're subscribing to most likely, that is more Paul-based, more post. How do we solve the problems after Jesus? How do we nail everything down? You know, Jesus was ambiguous in a lot of ways. Jesus thought that what would flow out of the heart when you called on God would be the guiding force, okay? Very few are going to be on the straight and narrow path that leads to salvation and enter through the narrow gate. Most are on the broad road, and it's leading towards destruction. You're going to encounter those types of people, even in your own family. Because of Jesus, he didn't come to bring peace. He said, because of him, brother will be against brother, father against son, etc. Because if everybody says they feel, and they're being guided, how do you know they really are, or whether they're just trying to ascend through the ranks so that they can be the ones that rise to power, ordained authority in God, and then you answer and everyone else answers to them? Or maybe they don't even want to rise to power. Maybe they just want to do whatever the heck they want. Now, this is going to be hard for you to hear because you're probably a good, wanting to be Christian. I would say go to the basis of what Jesus tells you to do. Don't even use the word Christian if it could trip you up. And look towards whatever the evangelicals or the pastors or the priests or whatever even do today. But look to what Jesus showed us to do. I don't know enough from this letter. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you want to be good and do the right thing. But here's what you've ultimately done in your actions that you've described. In the parlance of our time, I'm going to say this straight out. You're a sugar daddy. You are somebody that through money and means allows the root, the love of money, of all evil, to mold and manipulate you, plaster you on the road, run over you like a steamroller. And they see you more and more and more and more and more just for what that can gain out of you and not for your sensibilities that you have about why don't they see higher things? You're looking for them. You must think, oh, they must be looking for them too. No, they're not seeing higher things. Because what you've done is you've appealed to their earthly needs. You've appealed to their earthly needs. And that's what they hit you up on. That's why this whole thing is happening to you in the way that it is. Now, you've probably got a lot of other details that I don't know. But this reeks of what I just said. Just reeks. You're not going to find this in a textbook. You're not going to find this at the church. I'm uniquely qualified because of my namesake and my namesake and my studies on this. And the fact that I've been a Christian all my life. But when I became married, I needed to unify 34 years ago. We just had our anniversary. And I said, let's go to the Lord and find out what he wants from us, from his creation. And I said, let's go find out. I didn't know. I was young. I was in college. I kind of put all that on hold for a while. Those where I'd come from, they did all that judgmental stuff that Paul was trying to guide. That kind of sets us up for working in this world the way that the scribes and the Pharisees, the higher ups in the Jewish society, were doing, and why Jesus had to come, and why he pointed them out over and over again, the wrongs that they were doing. Paul's setting that up today to happen again. But we don't fall from it. We don't fall for it if we see it. And how do we come to see it? Through Jesus' teachings, his example, his models that he lays out for us, his parables, to show what the nature of man is so that you don't fall for it. I'm not going to say that your wife and your daughter and stepdaughter and whatnot are not saved. I'm not going to say whether they're not on the straight and narrow road or not. I'm not going to say they're on the broad road, paved to destruction, leading towards destruction. I'm not going to say that because that would be judging. We're not to judge. But I don't think their path is as far along as at least yours is. You keep assuming they're going to do the right thing. You're going to shine the light and they're going to see. No. You're failing them and ruining them because you're feeding the root of evil, which is the love of money. Even though you think it's good and you care and you work hard to do it. And look at, she got the law degree and, come live with me. I'll take care of you. No, you're providing for the physical needs of these people, and they're treating you like dirt under your feet, just like a non-believer would do, just to get what they need from you. Now, the good news is, all that matters is that you do what God, through Jesus' teachings, would want of you. And your best chance to help others around you, and just a chance, is to emulate the light of the living water of Jesus. Let them understand why the teachings are what they are, and let them somehow come to see, as I have, and I hope as you will more and more each day. I don't know where you are in your spiritual walk, but there's no way I would have done what you've done, because I would have known I'm encouraging the likelihood of the probability that they're on the broad road or very far behind their spiritual growth, the likelihood to go on and perpetuate that particular road is likely, more likely. That's why it's not the narrow road, it's the broad road. Sure, they're your loved ones. Sure, you've raised them according to, hey, let's go to church. Let's find out what Christianity is and all that stuff. I'm not saying you didn't try, but you have not succeeded. Your actions have literally given you away and been abused by those that should be loving you and caring and loving God and caring and loving Jesus' teachings and caring, and they don't. The good news is you can find strength in yourself and your beliefs and not try to change outside events. You'll find strength. And if you find that you are on that straight and narrow road and you learn the value of the Jesus teachings and the cornerstone, why he's called that, you have the ability to shine a light that can actually, hopefully, if they will receive, bring change to them as well. No guarantees, probably likely not. Okay? So I'm just telling you like it is. I know it's hard to hear it. The likelihood is it won't. But the truth in at least what you have written to me is self-evident. I would be glad to talk to you more. If you have anything that you want to say where I'm way off and it's like, oh, I wish I would have said this, he would have never said that or whatever, then tell me. But I think what I try to do is I try to put in every video, I try to put what is needed for conscious understanding and counsel so that you can look at something from a different point of view and make a conscious paradigm perspective shift. And through counseling your conscious, you can learn to shine the light in a way that it can affect positively others. Won't necessarily, but can. If everybody would be affected, then Jesus would have affected everybody. He didn't come to bring peace. He didn't come to make everybody know. He came so that faith, through those that would see what his unearthly wisdom says and his example and his teachings, would come to have faith and would therefore rise because they knocked on that door and that door was answered for them. Most won't do that. You're probably surrounded by people that won't do that. And that's why you're having the problems that you are. I'll be happy to talk with you further if you'd like. I'm Paul Roberts. This is Conscious Counseling 101. May God bless you and keep you. And may Jesus' teachings light your way.